Alright, I had to sit down for this one. Bear with me. This may be the hardest reading I've done yet to date. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to try to do the best job I can of explaining. We do have a Mercury Cazimi happening at this right now. So this is an information/communication download, inwardly and outwardly. And I just really want to nail this reading. I can see it. Let's see if I can speak it. I've been having a rough time with this one. So first off, January 10th, 2020, we have the biggest astrological event that I've ever seen happen. In my time that I've been paying attention. And that is Pluto and Saturn, Mercury and the Sun are conjunct, opposing the full moon and the Cancer full moon, lunar eclipse. All the eclipses have been happening in these two signs. These are the two signs that have been highlighted for the past year. And I've been speaking about this, most of my videos. We've seen an upkick in politics, Capricorn, government, laws, traditions, economy. We've never seen anything this political of a time, We've seen a huge divide in America here with the left and the right, blue and the red, conservative, liberal. We've seen huge fluctuations in economy. And we're tying up this cycle, this Capricorn Cancer cycle, this weekend. The next eclipse won't happen until 6 months from now. Not even that long. When the next one will occur in Gemini and Sagittarius. We're going to have a huge energy shift I keep talking about in May. When we move away from this, it's still going to be political and still going to do with home and everything, but what we're going to see is an upkick in information, a flood of information and truths being exposed, which doesn't surprise me. It'd be an election year. We're going to hear more bullshit than we've ever heard in our life. We're going to have so much information coming at us from every direction, it's just going to be psychotic. And this is going to be a birth or death in those areas of life. But anyway, we're getting back to this Capricorn Cancer thing. So we've been talking about, Pluto and Saturn coming together and it transforming, it defragmenting, it tearing down, it pruning old patterns, traditions, laws, getting rid of the ones that don't work so that we can build a strong foundation for the future. And, with the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and South Node here, it blows it out of proportion. And I posted in one of my, previous posts way earlier last year, around May, about this, the drums of war. And during this last lunation, this new moon in Capricorn that happened, we got to the first quarter. In the first quarter, of this new moon was Aries, the first quarter moon. And what happened? We had the Iranian, Iraqi situation go down, where the top general of Iran was murdered, which caused a huge scare across the world about World War III. Well, I predicted that in many of my videos last year. Not, that certain person was going to die, but there would be a flare-up in this challenging of governments and structures and laws and traditions, and all that stuff. Spiritual warfare kind of stuff. Spiritual, governmental warfare, geopolitical warfare. A lot of it has to do with resources, oil, which is also very earthly, Taurus and Capricorn kind of stuff. So there's no surprise that when the moon hit this quarter mark during this cycle, and it hit that trigger where Uranus was last year, where we first seen the flare-ups of terrorism attacks and radical acts, that we would get a flare-up, a revisit of that cycle. And it happened just right on cue. So the reason I'm being so cautious about what I say is I don't want to scare people. I really don't want to scare people, but I want to prepare people for the worst and the best scenarios that could possibly happen with this big of an alignment. Aside of Pluto and Saturn coming together with Mercury and the Sun, and that Jupiter South Node thing just blowing everything out of proportion even more, on top of it all, what may be the most significant thing is Uranus is stationing and getting ready to go direct, exactly at the time of this full moon. We got to stop and look at the vibration, the psionic energy that Uranus emits when it's in Taurus. What is Uranus? It is radicalism. It is lightning strike moments. It's spontaneity. It's unpredictability. It's shattering reality, mind-blowing events. And it's going to go direct exactly right after this full moon. That full moon is an emotional one. This is an emotional, and a lot of emotion has been stirred up around the world. A lot of emotion. Whether that be the Iranian people mourning the death of their top general, someone who they seen as whatever they saw. A lot of people were upset about that. Us getting upset, whether that be the left, liberals upset about Trump's actions, or the right getting upset about the Iranian situation in Iraq, the U.S. embassy getting bombed, that's very emotional. The Australian fires, the upkick on social media, where the outpouring heart of, the animals dying and people rescuing animals and people putting their lives on the line. And it's been an emotional cycle. Very emotional start to the year. Look at all this stuff that's been happening these past couple of weeks. We're only on the 10th of January, and it's already crazy. The world's burning, and people are getting bombed, and people are dying, and the economy's going skyrocket, and we're talking about impeachment and all this stuff that I've been talking about with politics, governments, traditions, economy. unexpected events. And just because this alignment is happening on the 10th, don't mean it's just over right then. It don't work that way. These two planets have been taking a long time to come together. They're going to take a long time to pull apart. So the reverberating effects of this alignment are going to set in motion not only the next 6 months, but the next 30 years. We're not going to see Saturn come on top of Pluto again for another 30 years. We've never seen this before. Not in Capricorn. Last time it was in Capricorn, happened in Capricorn, God knows when. I mean, like I said, it was like the Dark Ages or something. I'm not going to concern myself with that because I wasn't around for that. But we can look at the cycles and the rhythms, the recurring patterns. So, not only do we have that going on, the Uranus getting ready to go direct, because that's the one I think is the scariest thing. I mean, the Saturn Pluto thing with the Sun and Mercury, that's been building up. That's been a slow, set in motion kind of thing. It's Uranus getting ready to turn on direct that's the scary one. Because for one thing, Uranus is in a fall position in Taurus, which means it's in its least favorite place. Much rather be in probably any other sign. But what Uranus does here in Taurus is it brings those spontaneous, those unexpected, those life-shattering, those radical, explosive lightning strikes into reality. Whether that be an earthquake, an explosion, a mind-shattering event. So be cautious. It could be as bad as a car wreck, or it could be winning the lottery. You gotta look at both extremes. When you're dealing with Taurus, you're also dealing with resources and money and stuff like that. I would say go buy a damn lottery ticket. Go buy a lottery ticket this weekend. After Uranus goes direct, all the planets will be direct. We were really going to see some forward momentum after this weekend. Things are really going to start changing. And in May, there's going to be a huge another shift when we start a new eclipse cycle. Those nodes move in the North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius. So anyway, this picture I've drawn, I didn't use a chart this time. I've got a chart here in front of me, but you can't see it. This chart here represents the full moon, Cancer. The crystals represent what is crystallizing in our lives, manifesting what are we bringing in that is of integrity, of strength. And these little embers burning off are letting go of defragmenting, letting go of things that are no longer working so that we can manifest and crystallize things of integrity in our lives. So, I don't know if this helps anybody, but we're at a very crucial fork in the road, whether that be globally or personally. On a personal level, right now with this full moon, this is kind of a checkpoint of how do you feel right now? Do you feel lost, confused, aggravated, frustrated? If you do, then you've been doing the wrong things. Do you feel empowered? Do you feel new motivation, inspiration? Then you've been doing the right thing. how we feel, Moon in Cancer, North Node in Cancer, is the barometer of the actions that we've been taking. Like in my last video, we were talking about that tree. If all the conditions are met, that seed, cell by cell by cell, will grow to a tree into fruition. If not, it will die. That's been the main theme of most of my reading. Things that aren't working aren't going to work anymore. You got to move towards things that do, get rid of the things that don't. Level up, step up, find your integrity, find that inner strength, emotionally charge your actions so that they mean something. That's how you get, that's how you attract things in your life, is the good things in your life is emotionally charge them. And with Neptune and Pisces here, sextiling over to Capricorn, what that means is feel your dreams, dream big, but dreams without action won't manifest anything. This is an opportunity for some of us to make our dreams come true. It may not happen overnight, but we're laying the foundation for the highest possible reality that we can make, the highest possible version of ourselves. So we've got Venus getting ready to move into Pisces. And I think, right now, this full moon, we've still got 2 more weeks of the closing of that cycle. Kind of like the ending of a story, just closure. The next 2 weeks after this will be a sense of closure. And on next week, on the 13th, we've got Venus moving into her exaltation in Pisces. So I think when Venus moves here, this will be the final, when you can go in and your feelings will tell you what you've done. Okay, so let's say on the 13th, we go into 13th, Venus goes into Pisces, and you just feel great. You feel good. You feel a sense of connection and contentment. You will know that you've been working in the right direction. Or Venus and Pisces can be delusion. You could get lost in the delusion of, Pisces, the psychosis, the deception, the haze. So that's definitely a time to look forward to, or look into how you're feeling. On the 16th, we have Mercury will move out of this gauntlet area of the zodiac, I keep calling Capricorn, and will move into Aquarius. And thus, again, igniting that Aquarian Uranus energy, unpredictability. Wouldn't be surprised if we heard some unexpected news or, mind-shattering kind of stuff on the news. And then we have the Sun moving in Aquarius. So we're moving into a lot of Aquarian energy here the next couple of weeks. So there's that expect unexpected events. It's just not now, but in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, I wish everybody the best, and I hope for the best. I hope we don't go to World War. And if we do, let's hope that God's with the victor. I think personally, I'm going to just say it. I'm just going to say it. I think the West, we are the future, and the Middle East is not. And I just going to put it like this. We're talking about those old, stale patterns and paradigms, and this defragmenting of governments and laws and stuff of that nature. There's no future in a culture, in a society that treats women like dogs, that, you know, judges someone on their sexual preferences and executes. There's no future there's in that. God is the judge of all that stuff. That's why these governments and these systems are falling, I think, because there's nothing there of integrity anymore. But anyway, before I get too political, which, whatever, I'm going to cut it off. I could talk for hours and hours and hours on this stuff. But totally love you guys, and I wish the best, and peace.